클릭해주셔서 감사합니다.
Hello everyone, I'm Raiseo JK Dae. Today we are beginning a new series on one of the most remarkable economic stories in modern history, the rise of Japan. Today Japan is known for Toyota, Sony, Nintendo, Honda, Panasonic, high-speed trains, robotics, anime, advanced manufacturing, and world-class technology. Japan is the third largest economy in the world. Its companies are recognized across the globe. Its products have influenced the lives of billions of people, but only a few generations ago, Japan faced total devastation. Its cities lay in ruins, its industries were destroyed, its economy had collapsed, millions of people struggled simply to survive, and yet, within a few decades, Japan became one of the richest and most technologically advanced nations on earth. How did this happen? How did a defeated nation become an economic superpower? How did Japan achieve what became known as the Japanese economic miracle? And what lessons can we learn from this extraordinary transformation? Let's find out. To understand Japan's economic rise, we must first return to the end of World War II. In August 1945, Japan surrendered to the Allied powers. The war had devastated the country. Major cities such as Tokyo, Osaka, Nagoya, and Yokohama suffered extensive damage. Industrial production collapsed, transportation networks were severely disrupted, food shortages became common, millions of people lost their homes. The economy was in chaos. For many Japanese citizens, daily life became a struggle for survival. The country's future looked uncertain. Following the war, Japan came under Allied occupation led primarily by the United States. The occupation lasted from 1945 to 1952. Many reforms were introduced during this period. A new constitution was adopted. Political institutions were reorganized. Land reforms redistributed agricultural land. Large concentrations of economic power were reduced. Labor rights expanded. Education was reformed. These changes laid important foundations for future economic development. However, reforms alone could not create prosperity. Japan still faced enormous challenges. The country lacked natural resources. Its industrial base had been severely damaged. Its economy needed rebuilding. First, recovery was slow. Then an unexpected event changed everything, the Korean War. In 1950, war broke out on the Korean peninsula. The United States and its allies required enormous amounts of supplies. Because Japan was geographically close to Korea, it became a major logistical base. American military forces purchased vehicles, equipment, clothing, machinery, and various supplies from Japanese businesses. These purchases created a significant economic boost. Factories restarted production. Employment increased. Business confidence improved. Many economists describe the Korean War as an important turning point in Japan's recovery. The war did not create Japan's economic miracle by itself, but it helped provide momentum during a critical period. In the mid-1950s, Japan had begun a period of rapid economic growth. What followed would become one of the fastest and most impressive economic transformations in history. From the 1950s through the 1980s, Japan experienced decades of extraordinary expansion. Industrial output surged, exports increased dramatically, living standards improved, household incomes rose, new tech industries emerged, millions of people entered the middle class. This period became known as the Japanese economic miracle. But what made this miracle possible? There was no single reason. Instead, several factors worked together. One important factor was government policy. Japan's government played an active role in economic development. Particularly important was the Ministry of International Trade and Industry, often known as MITI. MITI helped coordinate industrial policy. It identified strategic industries. It encouraged investment. It supported technological development, and it promoted exports. Rather than simply allowing market forces to determine everything, Japanese policymakers often worked closely with private companies. Their goal was to strengthen industries that could compete internationally. This approach became an important feature of Japan's development model. Another major factor was education. Japan invested heavily in human capital. Literacy rates were already high by international standards. Schools emphasized discipline, mathematics, science, and technical skills. Universities produced engineers, researchers, and managers. A highly educated workforce helped Japanese firms adopt and improve advanced technologies. Education became one of Japan's greatest competitive advantages. Work culture also played an important role. During the post-war decades, many Japanese workers demonstrated extraordinary commitment to rebuilding their country. Long working hours were common. Company loyalty was often strong. Many employees expected to spend most of their careers with a single employer. This system is sometimes referred to as lifetime employment. Although not universal, it became associated with large Japanese corporations. Companies invested heavily in training workers. Workers developed specialized skills. The result was a highly productive workforce. Another crucial factor was technology. Japan initially imported many technologies from abroad. Japanese firms carefully studied foreign products and manufacturing techniques. They learned from American and European companies. However, they did not simply copy, they improved. They refined production methods, they focused on quality, and over time they developed innovations of their own. This commitment to continuous improvement became known as Kaizen. Kaizen means continuous improvement. The idea is simple. Small improvements made constantly over time can produce extraordinary results. Japanese companies applied this philosophy throughout their operations. Factories sought greater efficiency, workers suggested improvements, managers focused on reducing waste, quality control became a priority. This approach helped Japanese firms gain international reputations for reliability and precision. The automobile industry provides one of the best examples. Before World War II, Japan's automobile industry was relatively small. After the war, however, companies such as Toyota, Nissan, and Honda expanded rapidly. Japanese automakers focused on efficiency and quality. They developed production systems that reduced waste and improved productivity. Perhaps the most famous example is the Toyota production system. This system revolutionized manufacturing. It emphasized efficiency, inventory reduction, quality control, and continuous improvement. The influence of the Toyota production system eventually spread around the world. Today, many manufacturing companies continue to use principles inspired by it. Japanese automobiles gradually gained popularity overseas. Consumers appreciated their reliability, fuel efficiency, and affordability. As exports expanded, Japanese automakers became major global competitors. Electronics represented another major success story. Companies such as Sony, Panasonic, Toshiba, Sharp, and others helped transform Japan into a technological powerhouse. In the post-war years, Japanese firms initially produced relatively simple consumer products, but their capabilities improved rapidly. They developed radios, televisions, audio equipment, video recorders, cameras, and numerous other products. One company became particularly symbolic of Japan's technological rise, Sony. Founded in 1946, Sony became famous for innovation and product design. The company introduced products that captured global attention. Perhaps the most famous was the Walkman. Released in 1979, the Walkman revolutionized portable music. For the first time, people could easily carry their music wherever they went. The product became a global phenomenon, demonstrating Japan's growing influence in consumer electronics. Japan also became a leader in precision manufacturing, machine tools, industrial equipment, optical instruments, and advanced materials. Japanese firms developed reputations for producing high-quality products. This reputation became a major competitive advantage. Exports played a central role in Japan's success. Japan's domestic market was significant, but international markets provided even greater opportunities. Japanese companies sold products around the world. cars, electronics, machinery, industrial equipment, and countless other goods. Export earnings generated wealth, they financed investment, and they supported continued economic expansion. As exports increased, Japan accumulated large trade surpluses. The country's economic influence expanded dramatically. By the 1960s and 1970s, the world was beginning to notice. Japanese products became increasingly common in Europe and North America. Consumers who once associated quality manufacturing with Western countries began recognizing Japanese excellence. This shift represented a remarkable achievement. Only a few decades earlier, Japan had been recovering from devastation. Now it was becoming an industrial giant. Infrastructure development also contributed significantly to growth. Japan invested heavily in transportation networks. Roads improved, ports expanded, airports developed. Perhaps most famously, Japan introduced the Shinkansen. The Shinkansen, often called the Bullet Train, began operations in 1964. It connected major cities with unprecedented speed and efficiency. The system became an international symbol of Japanese technological achievement and demonstrated how infrastructure could support economic growth. Urbanization accelerated as well. Millions of people moved from rural areas to cities. Industrial centers expanded. Large metropolitan regions developed. Economic activity became increasingly concentrated in urban areas. This transformation helped support manufacturing and services. The standard of living improved dramatically. Households purchased refrigerators, televisions, washing machines, automobiles, and other consumer goods. Many families experienced levels of prosperity that would have seemed unimaginable immediately after the war. By the 1960s, Japan had become one of the world's fastest growing economies. By the 1970s, it was a major industrial power, and by the 1980s, it appeared unstoppable. In fact, many people believed Japan might eventually surpass the United States economically. During the 1980s, Japanese companies dominated numerous industries. Japanese automobiles competed successfully worldwide. Japanese electronics became household names. Japanese banks ranked among the largest financial institutions on earth. Japanese corporations expanded internationally. Investment flowed abroad. Confidence was extremely high. Books were written predicting Japan's economic dominance. Some observers even wondered whether the 21st century would become the Japanese century. Of course, history would take a more complicated path. Challenges eventually emerged. Economic growth slowed, asset bubbles developed, and later Japan would experience the famous lost decades. But that story belongs to another video. Today we are focusing on the miracle itself, and there is no denying its significance. Japan's rise transformed not only Japan but also the global economy. The country's manufacturing techniques influenced industries around the world. Its products changed consumer behavior. Its companies became international leaders. Its economic success inspired policymakers in many other countries. Several lessons emerged from Japan's experience. First, long-term investment matters. Economic miracles rarely happen overnight. Japan's transformation required decades of sustained effort. Second, education matters. A skilled workforce can become one of a country's most valuable resources. Third, technology matters. The ability to adapt, improve, and eventually create new technologies is essential for economic development. Fourth, exports matter. Access to international markets can accelerate growth dramatically. And finally, institutions matter. Effective coordination between government, businesses, and workers can help support industrial development. Of course, every country's circumstances are different. No development model can simply be copied. Nevertheless, Japan's experience remains one of the most important economic stories of the modern era. A country devastated by war rebuilt itself. A nation lacking abundant natural resources became an industrial powerhouse. A defeated empire transformed into one of the world's most advanced economies. That achievement became known as the Japanese economic miracle. and it remains one of history's most remarkable examples of economic transportation. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and leave a comment below. What do you think was the most important factor behind Japan's economic miracle? I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.